with Sedona and her injury and obviously moving on, when you lose what you're losing this offseason, but you bring in with stuff by a freshman, certainly. In the big picture, Kelly, is it possible to be a maybe less talented team, but a better team as a unit?
Well, yeah, we lost some good players. Obviously, losing Sedona is a big part of it. You know, she's such a skilled and talented player. But yeah, I like my team. I don't think we've taken a step back talent wise. Others now have more of an opportunity to play, and we're going to miss Sedona obviously, and as well as the other players. You know, we always lose good players, but I really like this group. I think we've got more than enough talent. I like where we're at. I think people are going to maybe sleep on us a little bit. Which I think can be a good thing.
Does it change any way in a way you scheme, any way you play without Sedona?
Sure. Yeah, sure. We just don't have that kind of playmaker in the middle necessarily at her height. You know, Kennedy's just a freshman who didn't play her senior year in high school, and Philly's still a work in progress, even though she's, you know, very, very talented. But her skill set doesn't match what Sedona gave us. She had the ability to score and pass out of that high post, where those other two maybe don't yet have that kind of ability. But it's okay. We've got other players that can score. Maybe we run a little bit more through Grace, you know.
In terms of lineups and rotations from what we've seen end of practices the past couple of weeks, last night, are you trying to experiment more with lineups without Tahina and Dia on the court at the same time, mainly so that when subs happen, you're not necessarily over-reliant or something like that, where you know you can go there, but you want to find other answers first?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are obviously going to be times when we don't have, you know, both of them on the court, but we're very capable to guards. We're deep. I mean, if those two aren't on the court, that means we've got a Chance Gray and we have a Taya Hansen, we have an Elise Hurst or a Jenna Asai on the court. Those are really good players. But obviously they're the key. They're the catalyst, right? They're the engine, so to speak. So we need them to have big years. And yeah, most of the time you're going to have at least one or both on the court.
Is there an ability or even an interest to add to this year's roster with Sedona going out, or is this the 10 that you've got now, the 10 you'll have?
We're fine. 2019, we had a pretty good year, and we only had 9 on that team. So, you know, it just you stay up at night hoping that everybody's healthy. That's the big thing. And that year we happened to be healthy until toward the end. But I don't think it's the number of players necessarily.
How is the pick and roll developed here with these guards and then with Philly and Kennedy and Grace?
And we're getting better. You guys saw us go against a zone today, because I think we might see some zone on Monday. So we just kind of we haven't worked on it much. It's still going to be a big part of what we do, pick and roll. And always will be. We're doing it less than we used to, but we're doing a lot more pitch and cut and that kind of stuff. It's just kind of evolving.
In terms of Monday, I understand how Northwestern came about because of the game last year that didn't end up happening, but why the opener? Just because, I mean, you could have gotten any number of your other non-conference opponents to play you first. Just come out of the gates with a Power 5 opponent is significant.
Yeah, it is for them too. We're both playing Power 5. I'm okay. You guys, 5 of our 11 games are going to be against so-called top 25 or Power 5 teams in the non-league. If you throw Oregon State in, we're going to have 6 Power 5 conference games before Christmas. Not a lot of people kind of bite off that big of a sandwich, right? So not ideal for either of us, but you know, when you're traveling cross country, we try to accommodate them best we can, and that was when it fit into their schedule, so that's fine. I'm okay with that. Joe's such a great guy. He and I are good friends, and so we both know it's going to be good for us right off the bat to see where we're at.
And what do you know of them, see from them? I think they were replacing their top scorer.
They are, yeah. She was a first-round pick. I think she went right after Niara, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, and had a really good rookie year for Dallas. They've got a couple of outstanding shooters. I watched them last night, and they had one literally hit it from that X at the top, and it looked real comfortable. They've got one of the nation's best leading rebounders back. She's going to be a problem for us because she's just so active. I'm trying to think. She's a more athletic version of Audie Gilden, just kind of that role, kind of an undersized post. And then they have a 6'3" center who loves to shoot the three. They run kind of an interesting matchup zone that's going to be difficult for us the first time because we just haven't seen it. So it'll be a test, actually. It'll be a test, and they have Big Ten athletes. So I You know what I
How
mean?
do you feel your freshmen are? Because 40% of your roster now are first year.
Yeah,
the
they're
first
doing
college
awesome.
Game. The first college game, though, against a good opponent.
Yeah, I was just joking with them. You know, and I said, "This is your first game." They said, "No, we just played." I said, "No, we don't count that game. It's an exhibition. This is your first real game." And I think they're going to be more than ready. Yeah, Grace has been out for a couple of days. She's just now getting back, just nursing a foot. You may have seen her go down in that last game. This time of year, why push it? And Chance, you know, I think is doing real well. And Jenna has given us something. I don't know if I've ever coached a player like her. She's got a unique set of skills, and I love the way she attacks the basket. And she's really good around the rim, draws fouls, plays physical. So and then Kennedy inside, you know, she's going to be more of a work in progress. But man, last night we scrimmaged against the fellas, and she was really good. Finished everything inside. So, yeah, she's getting better. I think she knows now she's got to play. There's a little more urgency. Now I'm not the third center. I'm, you know, the second, working on maybe competing for the first.
Have you seen something similar maybe with Philly, going from maybe rotating with Sedona to now, hey, you're going to be the starter?
Same thing, yeah. I think she's been pretty good. You've been around. Philly's been pretty good. You know, she's getting deeper post-up position. She's keeping it off the floor, which is one of our issues with her. She likes to take that crutch bounce. She's coming. Yeah, she's coming.
She's somebody who you raved about her potential last year. You know, how much has she improved from last year to now?
I think a lot. Yeah, and hopefully she has. I mean, you know, we'll see now when we go live against real, you know, big-time D1 players. But I feel good about her. And the good thing is what you see now is not what we're going to be in March. You know, with her, she's going to make huge strides because she's going to have to give us 20 to 28 minutes a game.
Also, in terms of the big picture, Kelly, this is kind of like philosophical. You want to embrace and
It's in the morning, bro. Philosophical.
I'm not asking you about, you know, Rawls and whatnot, philosophy, but yeah, be that as it may. You want to embrace and foster the opportunity for, especially with NIL, for players to build their brands and have big followings and use the spotlight that comes with it, certainly. A lot of players who have left the program for one reason or another, some of them had that. Some players who are here now still building that. One could say less distraction, less headache, less about me. There's a perception versus reality about, like, again, for everybody on the outside who's not here every day, they see that. Some people view that as selfish. Some people view that as being, you know, motivated by the individual, motivated by money. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that's perception. All right, well, when you have less of those things as a coach, does that make your job easier to have those things if they were a distraction in the first place? And I'm not saying they were. I'm saying what other people say about, what fans who aren't here every day say about people who do those things. Apparently they care about whether or not players make money and build their brands that way.
Yeah, you know, as a coach, you kind of long for those simple times when it was all about books and basketballs, you know, and now there's just so many other things that they're involved with. You know, I'm okay with it as long as they can, again, prioritize the books and the basketball and do that in the other time. You know, I'm okay with that. We push that here. We've been front and center. You guys know me right from the start. I said, I support this. I think it's great. You just have to make sure that they maintain their balance in life, you know, and not make that the overriding thing they do, you know. I think it's still about playing basketball, studying, getting into the college life. It's way too early, James, to get too deep and philosophical, but you know, I think this team, what I really appreciate about them is they do want to just play. You know, I look back at Sabrina. She could have probably broken the bank when it came to NIL, right? I'm not sure she would have really pursued that much. Now, it would have come organically because jerseys and stuff were being sold. She wasn't out promoting it. She would have gotten ultimately a cut of that kind of stuff. But I don't think if she was playing now, same with Ruthie and that group, they wouldn't have been trying to pursue it because at heart they were ballers first. And I think we have players like that. You know, if it's a byproduct, great. But I think they're really into right now each other and into the basketball. That's why I really like them. I gave them a hard time the other day. I said, you guys are killing me. I'm not sleeping well because of our team. And they kind of looked at me like that. I said, yeah, because I'm excited to get up and go to practice every day. And that's how it used to be, right? And so I'm not sleeping because I get so pumped up and amped up because I get to come and coach. And it's like that each and every day. And that's a good thing.
So tell us about the journals or what that was that you're just giving.
A buddy of mine put together this great journal catered toward women's basketball players, and it's goal oriented and it's easy to kind of follow and do. And I'm really excited to. It finally came in, so I just said I need them by the first game. So at least we got them here by the first game. I think it's great way to organize, keep themselves organized. You know, we did that during the pandemic. We gave our players journals, not kind of already organized like this. And then we would prompt them from time to time, you know, write your feelings down today, because that was such a unique time, you know, and we wanted them to journal, put their goals every Sunday night, organize themselves. What do I need? What are 3 things I need to accomplish this week? What are 3 things I'm thankful for? And then from time to time, you know, we prompted them to write about this today. And hopefully they did that. I don't know. We didn't correct them or have them turn them in, whatever. But that was just such a unique time in their lives, as is now, in a different way.
So you do the minute exercise like you did a couple of years ago of how many minutes do you think you'll play? And
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't done that. And with 10 players, I don't think it really applies. Because guess what? They all are going to have to play. You know, that's just, and I think that's great. That's what I love about having a smaller roster. Everybody knows they're going to have to contribute and play any given night.